be looking at two first-team All-American goaltenders here. Big, tasty Caleb Fyock, close to 300 pounds. Logan McNaney, tons and tons of experience.
Officials Peter Buchanan, Doug Donovan, Tyler Harriman. We're underway. Cross on the Big Ten Network. This is the Big Ten Men's Lacrosse Tournament Championship game, and Jack McDonald comes up a running for the Terps. Headed towards the cage, this long stick midfielder had it checked out of his cross. It's a turnover back to Ohio State, and making his presence felt right off the jump, Cullen Brown, who's one of the best in caused turnovers in the nation.
Cullen Brown, 42 in white, took a wing on the faceoff, a little wrinkle, and he chased McDonald, who was the pole on the wing for the Maryland faceoff. Brown hunted him down, causes the turnover. He will hound you all over this field.
First offensive touch of the game belongs to the Buckeyes in white. On the move, Matthews fires and scores! Gannon Matthews, 42 seconds in.
They say defense wins championships. Both of these squads amongst the best, not only in the conference, but in the country. Look at McDonald. He knew he just had his lunch money taken by Cullen Brown. And Gannon Matthews, look at that lefty dodge, and
Fyock makes his first save on the night.
That's tasty. Takes up a lot of that goal. I love the little fake by Erksa, a little hitch that got Foster chasing stick, got his hands free, but when you've got 297 pounds between the 6x6, it is not an easy task.
Ohio State looking to stack goals back-to-back. McKenna picked up by Jackson Canfield. Roll it back up top. McGee ready to go. Spins and fires to score! Dylan McGee.
Oh, high-o to start this game. And maybe this is the recipe for Ohio State. Early offense. 43, Dylan McGee. This is a team that gets it done by committee. Watch him put his foot in the dirt, spin around, and fire to the far post.
Against Jack Ullman, it squirts loose. Ullman flicks that one towards the sideline. We get the whistle and stoppage here. Possession belongs to the Buckeyes. Nick Myers said, Maryland kicked our butts in the first meeting. We have to withstand the first 7 minutes. So far, so very good.
Yeah, and what a great coaching job by Nick Myers. Big Ten Coach of the Year, and I think a candidate for National Coach of the Year. This is a ball club that dropped their season opener to Utah, only to turn it around, go an 11-game win streak, and win a regular season championship.
Interior Haas makes it 3 in a row, and the Buckeyes look every bit the top seed.
This Maryland defense is befuddled. They're not sure what hit them. John Tillman's going to burn an early timeout. Great run to cage. Haas with the front swing. He normally resides behind the goal as that X-Man, the quarterback. He front swings, catches it, slips it past McNaney. The Buckeyes are rolling.
Ended by Maryland in Columbus. The Terps put a 13-8 beat down on the Buckeyes, who are looking for a revenge here in this Big Ten championship match.
I had the opportunity to watch Ohio State scrimmage North Carolina in the fall, and you don't take a ton from the fall, but when I watched, I was like, these guys are playing fast. They're aggressive, and they can score. So when they lost to Utah, I was like, that's crazy. And they've just really turned it on, and they're having a special season.
Liam White getting better and better with each game, this freshman. Spins into the alley. Here comes the early help as they'll keep it hot. Shot clock 40 seconds. A wraparound chance. They keep scoring in droves. It's Haas with his second.
We're not even 5 minutes into this game, and it's 4-0 Ohio State. I'm not sure anyone had that on their bingo card. Haas is a different element to this Ohio State attack. Fast, quick, athletic, and agile, and he just runs by Jack McDonald. That's not terrible defense, but the whip around shot, if there is ball well. What do I mean by that? The first low offering, he was on it, body and stick in position, and that time He didn't even flinch. Clean stop for the big man.
This is Gannon Matthews. Not in his customary 24. Mitchell Pelkey will have a report on that soon. Liam White brings it to the alley. Stalked there by the short stick defensive midfielder Jordy Holmes. O'Leary gets underneath, goes to the cage, he scores! Shane O'Leary. It's 5 unanswered for the Buckeyes.
Wow. On Michigan's home field, no less. The Buckeyes are celebrating. O'Leary, I've been impressed with him all year long, and that's just poor communication between the pole and the shorty. You got to press out on that. You got to talk to each other. And instead of jumping, Jordy Holmes just waves by. Year's national championship game. Notre Dame got out to a quick start after Maryland was up 1-0. They went on a little bit of a scoring run, and McNaney had no saves at halftime of that game. Good to see him get his first under the belt, maybe settle down a little bit.
Temperatures this Saturday night in Ann Arbor in the low 50s as Aiden Aiken goes to the cage and finds Urksa. Pinwheel it up top for Stovall. The inside, bounce shot, score! Daniel Kelly says it's in. The officials say no. Kelly says whether Kelly has his first of the night or not.
We saw on Thursday, Tasty made a save with his stick, and the ball was in his stick. Let's see. It's got, the whole ball has to be over the goal line. So this is a high bouncer.
The net ripples.
Goes underneath. That is a goal. I'm going to say that is a goal. To hit that far back in the net, that I think comfortably crosses the goal line, and that should be a score after review. Yeah, I think that's a goal. Tough to see when you're the goal official. Right there, it looks like, run it forward a little bit. Right there, I think it's under the crossbar. So he's talking to somebody that's helping him through make this decision. It's just not the officials on their own, which we have seen this season.
Review. The ball did cross the goal line. It is a goal. Please reset the game clock. The 7:25.
So they credit the tally to Kelly.
It's the right call. Offense, quick first step, very explosive, really can get a defense moving.
Less than 6 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Haas has 2 of Ohio State's 5. Matthews gets the jump on Kohler, who shoves him below goal line extended. Shot clock's at 20 for the Buckeyes in the white jerseys. Haas maneuvers around the screen there that was being set by McKenna, all 6'6" of him. Skipping on through, White fires, he scores! Liam White.
I mentioned Liam White, a native of Illinois, being an initiator. Here he dons the finisher. Look at Haas. Again, that athleticism, that quickness gets him out of harm's way. And 22 in white, Liam White just punishes the upper 90. Look at the placement, the velocity. Beautiful. When you try to jam the crease on Ohio State, they're so big and long. That time Foster able to pick it off and thwart the last Maryland offensive push.
McGee brings it ahead for the Buckeyes. We dip a toe into this second quarter. All the scoring in this game back in the opening frame. Maryland's lone strike from Daniel Kelly. There are 5 different guys on the board for Ohio State. Turner fidgets to the inside. Here comes the help on the double. Rotate, Marinier fires and scores! Alex Marinier.
The Canadian, we talked about his range. And it is off ball, off a screen, and stepping downhill. Look at the placement. And Mick Myers continues to be pumped up for his Buckeyes. The step, the shot, so snappy, so fast, doesn't give McNaney a chance to set his feet and locate the rock.
No one has taken more shots in the Big Ten this season. Buckeyes fans know that. Alex Marinier gets himself back on the board. Goals in 14 of his 16 games this season. It's a 7-1 rout for the Buckeyes. Carrier comes up with a face-off win. Maryland needs to convert and convert soon.
And Maryland's a team that is not going to win one-on-one matchups. Spanos can do it. Urksa will destroy you if you're not ready on a restart. But they do it by snappy ball movement.
This one finds a home. The Terps will take him any way they can get him as Stovall celebrates.
Well, so much for my analysis of Maryland not being able to win a matchup. Stovall just gets downhill, and this is a very tall midfielder. And once he realizes 23 and white, Dante Bowen is on his back, that's when he lets it fly. So right there, he knows he's got his defender beat.
On the exchange with Shane O'Leary. Matthews running against Kohler. Nick Myers alluding to the fact that Matthews will have some dental work to follow tonight's festivities. Liam White off the split. Quick change of direction. Wide open. Matthews on the bouncer. Stop. McNaney wants the outlet. He puts it right out there quickly. Stamos is on the run. Fast break Terps. Stamos feeds. Nice catch Kelly. Looking cross field. Spanos, they still have it. Jump shot, score! Urksa turns the corner.
Huge goal for Maryland. And this really exemplifies the Terrapin offense. Smart and unselfish. That is a wide open look. Credit Jackson Canfield for getting his stick in a passing lane. Logan McNaney then just throws it to an area. Stamos hunts it down. Kelly handcuffed, but is able to corral that pass. And look at Spanos. He could have shot that ball, but he saw number 10 in red finish. Maryland with another goal.
25 tallies for Urksa, as you can tell, top of the screen. He has goals in all 14. Big face-off duties here. Oldman comes up with it on the ground ball for Ohio State. That's the same Jack Oldman who leads the Big Ten Conference in ground balls in 2025.
That was just unfortunate for Ohio State giving up that goal. That could have been a 2-goal swing, because if Matthews was able to step into that thing and it didn't get deflected, it may have scored. So credit Oldman for winning that face-off and kind of quelling the momentum momentarily for Maryland.
Griffin Turner from the top, inside look, score! Finding the wide open McKenna. Mark, the half-field execution for Ohio State's been breathtaking so far.
Oldman winning the face-off leads to Turner, and Schaller just kind of caught in no man's land. Some ball watching for Maryland, and big Jack McKenna, the Jolly Green Giant of this offense.
Here comes the help from Johnny Cool. Wouldn't it be nice to introduce yourself? Hi, I'm Johnny Cool.
Well, I introduced himself as Mark Cool, but nobody buys it.
Shot clock's at 10. Bring it on around, Spanos, angling towards the cage. Put that one in. Spanos celebrating and substituting at the same time. It's a good goal for the Terps.
A little awkward, but the officials get together, confer, and now you have Ohio State looking at their device, deciding whether or not they are going to challenge. We mentioned Spanos having to step up. He shoots it. Nothing touches the goal mouth. It looks like he was not in the crease before the ball entered the goal, meaning it crossed the goal line. That's a good goal. Great body control from Eric Spanos. Not an easy thing when you're 6'5".
Spanos unusually with no tallies in each of the wing as usual. Jack McDonald. John Tillman will tell you he wouldn't trade his wing guys for anyone. McDonald and Larkin.
They're terrific, Joe. You know, McDonald and Larkin are both incredibly athletic. I think McDonald's a little bit better of a defender. Larkin, better in transition, better offensive stick, but both are vacuums off the turf.
Just showed you the face-off story is even. Ohio State, by virtue of the 6-1 opening quarter, has the 8-4 lead. Whittier feeds it. Egan moves it. Spanos off the hitch. Swim move on Langermeyer. Gets to the goal. Scores! Spanos and the Terps making their comeback.
Terp bench loves it. We said that Spanos was going to have to put on the Superman cape. Well, I think he went into the phone booth in between quarters and slipped it on. The bench loves it. Spanos has great body control for a man his size. Uses a little bit of a rocker step, high wing, gets underneath.
No precipitation. All the heat and the action is on the field between two teams who've set the pace all season long in the Big Ten.
If you're Ohio State, take a breath. You've had success in your half-field 6-on-6 offense. Stay focused. You knew Maryland wasn't going to go away.
Turner will exchange for Marinier. Bring it on around, send it back behind the goal, and then come this way once more for Turner. Picked up by Stamos. Turner lets it fly. He scores! Griffin Turner.
Maryland incorporating a zone on this possession, and the communication just wasn't there. Stamos gets picked off, and no one recovers and helps to slide on number 1 in white, Griffin Turner, and he is in prime shooting real estate, a la Gannon.
White is usually 24. Gannon Matthews, if you missed it during the opening half of play, Mitchell Pelkey, our sideline reporter, had an interview with Nick Myers, and Myers informed us of the damage that was inflicted upon Matthews early in the contest. Blood on the jersey, a loss of some teeth.
Man, I tell you, it's real out there. Every inch of the field being fought for, and this game means so much to both programs. Ohio State trying to win their first ever Big Ten tournament championship.
Maryland has done it 4 times. 10.5 to go in the third. Liam White has the ball in his cross. He scores! Down the alley to pay dirt.
The freshman has been terrific in this tournament. So impressive in the semifinal win over Rutgers. And look at that shot. Down the alley, left-handed, high to high.
Bowler puts the pressure on him. Mayer with tallies in 3 of his last 4. Making the exchange with Turner. Ohio State slowing the tempo here. Shot clock down to 20. McNaney leaving the cage to put some pressure on Haas. Mayer looks inside. That'll bounce wide of the goal. Shot clock's at 10. McKenna powering in. He scores! Jack McKenna has his second of the day.
He lives around the goal. McKenna using the matchup behind the cage. And he just beats Jack McDonald. I mean, McDonald a couple times has been beaten on that front swing. You don't see that too often. The footwork just not there. Kind of stopped his feet from moving. Number 51 in red, and McKenna kept his gun.
Tallies in 5 of the last 7. Going great guns for Ohio State. Maryland gets possession off the draw, and George Stamos will walk it across. The deficit for the Terps, they're down 6. A Maryland squad in its 100th season of play. They've made the NCAA tournament 21 straight times. A mark of 11-2. They'll be involved in the NCAA parade when the selections are made by tomorrow. Urksa on the go. He scores. A speed dodge for Braden Urksa.
Urksa is like a luxury sports car. He goes from 0 to 60 in no time flat. And that's Kyle Foster. He's no slouch defensively. Urksa just runs right at him, makes a subtle move. The pick throws Foster off, and I think Foster, 41 in white, thought he was going to get a little bit of help. He doesn't, because Urksa is so fast. Glides to the cage.
38% effective man up as Logan McNaney will direct his troops defensively from the cage for Maryland. Just a shade more than 5 minutes with which to work in this third quarter. It was a 9-5 advantage for Ohio State. At the halftime break, they bolted out to a 6-1 first quarter lead. Maryland's man down, look at that, 80%. They've only surrendered 4 man down goals all season.
They're terrific.
Turner changes that with an outside blazer.
I was just about to say, Maryland was able to kill a 3-minute man down situation on Thursday against Penn State. Griffin Turner, though, says we're not going to have that. Again, it's miscommunication. McDonald looks like he was passing Turner off to someone. No one steps to number 1. He takes a couple hops right down State Street and solves McNaney. Offside low. Great shot placement and make you pay in very different ways.
Would Marinier qualify as one of those?
I think so.
This drive sails wide. Alex Marinier, referred to by Nick Myers as an end-of-the-rainbow type shooter. After that ball moves around, it's not long in his cross, and then zoom, you get the pot of gold.
Yeah, we saw that in his tally that he had earlier in the game. That thing was in his less than a second.
Whittier for Maryland. Nice catch in traffic there for Urksa, who's a multi-goal scorer tonight. 4 minutes to go in the third. Whittier scores! Zach Whittier.
Great ball movement by Maryland, keeping it snappy and some really short passes in a tight window. And then Whittier is going to be able to come around. Look at that little give, the setup. And I like how Urksa, number 10 in red, drifted up the field, and he took Kyle Foster, number 41 in white, out of a sliding position. Maryland can come back. It's not their strong suit, but they can play.
Aiken fires wide of Fayok, backed up by Spanos. 3:21 left in the third quarter. A couple days ago, it was Jackson Canfield who got away unscathed after that 3-minute penalty in the fourth quarter against Penn State. Spanos had that shot partially blocked. Van Buren there.
There's definitely a lot of chatter. You know, was it worthy of 3 minutes?
Stovall on the go, he scores! Elijah Stovall.
Number 44 in red, the sophomore. He's really coming into his own in this tournament. I mentioned the shaky game against Hopkins where he, in essence, was kind of benched. Didn't see the field after he had a couple of turnovers. But we saw him with an alley dodge earlier with the left hand, and this is just a race to the cage, whistle ready. Hasty on that one, because Braden Urksa, maybe no one better in the Big Ten and amongst the most elite in the country on those restarts, being whistle ready and being able to go again like a luxury sports car from 0 to 60 in no time.
He was flying. That was like a 4.40 right there. Shane O'Leary will cool his heels on the outside with Liam White. Tail end of this third quarter, Ohio State on top by 4. Buckeyes, 2 times in their program history, have been Big Ten tournament runners-up. They've never won it all. Marinier from deep.
Marinier 5 in white and Daniel Kelly 45 in red. When they get their feet set, identify the goal, it's typically lights out. Look at the wrist snap from Alex Marinier. Catches that ball. That is a thing of beauty. That is a snappy release, the worm burner that he possesses. He has the capability to go to the cage and make plays.
Spanos waving an arm at Kyle Foster. Whittier measured by Ari Allen. Whittier forced back, does a quick 180 and picks up Keegan. Spanos, long strider. Island there on the switch. Short stick defensive midfielder. Maryland keeping the ball hot. Ford rolling back, jumper, he scores! Bryce Ford.
Incredible rollback. The transfer from Fairfield, listed at 5'8". Feels like he plays a little bit bigger. Cruises down the alley, puts his foot in the turf, rolls back, sees the slide coming, recognizes that he has Fayak. Maryland continuing to fight. I love this rollback and the recognition right there that Fayak just maybe stepped out a step too far. Ford makes him pay.
Ford, who was huge in Maryland's win over Ohio State in Columbus, had 3 goals and an assist in that one. Gets himself on the board, brings Maryland within 4 with 13:50 to go in regulation. Off this scramble, Oldman comes out of the pack. Good kick there, fast break, score! The hat trick for Haas.
We've talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. Ohio State showing resilience and answering anytime Maryland challenges. Look at Oldman. I love the discipline. Wait, draw the slide. Haas hammers it home. Jack Oldman, sophomore out of Pickering, Ontario. Reminds me of another Ohio State face-off great, Jake Withers, who helped lead this Buckeye team to the...
Again. On the exchange. Ooh. Rough run there for Keegan. Spanos on the hitch. Spanos rolls back, submarines one wide of the cage with 10 minutes to go in regulation. In lacrosse, on a missed shot closest to the ball where and when it leaves the field gets possession. The officials awarding that one to Maryland.
Yeah, great job by the trail official, giving it to the Terps. You can see the hustle. Every possession so critical now with just under 10 minutes to go in this contest.
Matthew Keegan trying to get underneath on Island, who wouldn't allow it. Ford slashing past Johnny Cool. He scores! Bryce Ford.
Ford is having an impact on this game, keeping Maryland within striking distance. The midfielder just goes down the alley, and once you go over the head, as you see number 20 in white, Johnny Cool, do, you're cooked. Maryland bench sees it. Ford with the dodge, the whiff by Cool, and he bounces it past Big.
Beat inside, gets away from Holmes. That'll do it. For the first time in program history, the Big Ten tournament title belongs to Ohio State. And the ice bath feels wonderful. And then what they came from Columbus to bring home and celebrate. It's all yours, Ohio State.
What a feeling. You start this process for Ohio State not making the Big Ten tournament last season.